What's up, guys? So I was thinking back to when I moved back here to Nebraska a few years ago. My friend that I always say is a gang stalker who I've known for like my whole life, and maybe he's been gang stalking me my whole life since like kindergarten, since I was like 4 years old. Maybe it's been since then that he's been gang stalking me. Maybe it hasn't been that long. I don't know. But he's a gang stalker and he's a backstabbing piece of shit. But anyway, he moved me back to Nebraska a few years ago. And then we moved into a house together. And I remember one night we were hanging out and he was like, he said something about, how he's evil, or how I don't know how evil he is, or something like that. He was like, "You have no idea how evil I am," or something like that. And I was like, well, that was kind of weird. Or he's like, "I'm the most evil person you know," or something like that. I just remember that sticking in my head as being like a weird thing to say. I forget what we were even talking about, but anyway, we lived at this house with these other people that he knew. I don't know how he knew them, but they weren't like friends or anything, but he knew these people and they like let him move in the house or whatever. So anyway, we moved into the house. I was living in the basement, and there was this other girl living down there in the other room, and she had this dog. And I was just thinking about this because I was thinking about how they use dogs. And I was just thinking back to this because I don't know, I just think everybody there was a gang stalker, probably. Looking back, all the people that lived at the house were gang stalkers. But they had this dog. She had this dog in her room, and I was in the other room. Like, I was in like the main room, and then she had like a bedroom, so I had to like walk through where my bed is and everything to get to there. But anyway, she had this dog in her room, and it just would not stop barking. And it was just this like, it was like a puppy. It was like a really young dog, and he was like, I think he was abused. Like, she like got him from a shelter or whatever. But she just kept him locked in a cage all day, and he would just bark all day and act insane because he never got any attention and wasn't like trained or whatever. But like, it would just bark all day and go crazy, and then it would like break out of its cage and run around the house all crazy. And like, I would be there alone, and like, I'm down there with this barking dog. And I don't know, looking back, I think it was a gang stalker thing, because she didn't have the dog before, and she got it like right after I moved in. And then they said that I stole something and like kicked us out and like called the cops and shit, all this shit, and was saying that like I went into the room and into one of the girls' rooms and stole something. And like the other girl was saying that she saw me go in there and everything, but I didn't. So they like kicked us out because they said that I stole something. And they called the cops, and the cops like called me and everything. I had to go to the police station and talk to the cops about it. And I was like, it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. Do y'all have any evidence that I did anything? No? Okay, I didn't. So. But I had to go in the police station, talk to the cops for no reason. Just looking back, I think it was some gang stalker things going on. And then when I lived in Colorado, I already talked about this on here, but I deleted it. So I'll talk about it again. I don't know, I just deleted it or whatever, but when I was in Colorado though, I was living at this other house with this dude that I met at film school, and he like moved out because he was having like a nervous breakdown and shit. He moved out, and looking back, I think he might have been being targeted too, I don't know, but he moved out and like just like left me there or whatever. But like I had all my stuff in the garage there, and then I was living in my car in the Walmart parking lot, but I just had all my stuff in the garage of that house still. And then someone came in one night, and they were like remodeling the house in there, and someone came in one night, stole a bunch of tools, stole some other stuff out of the house, I think, set the house on fire, or like the one room at least, they set it on fire. And then they stole some stuff out of the garage and stole like half of my stuff out of the garage. And then set the house on fire and left. And then the house didn't burn down, but like that whole room was destroyed. And then the cops were like investigating me and investigating my friend. And I don't know who did it, and still don't know who did it. It was probably some government agent that did it. It's probably a gang stalker that came in and did it and stole my stuff and then set the house on fire. And then I think my friend was being targeted too because he was talking about like, he made a Facebook post about like plainclothes agents and stuff, and I think he thought I was a gang stalker, and like said that he doesn't want to talk to me anymore and stuff. I think he thought I was a gang stalker, maybe, or maybe he was a gang stalker, I don't know. But I think he was being targeted too, and he thought that I was one of them. But I was actually being targeted too. I don't know. But I think whoever set the house on fire and stole all the stuff was a gang stalker. Or a CIA agent, whatever you want to call it. A gang arsonist. But yeah, then the cops like questioned me after that, and were like, I was like a suspect in that and stuff and whatever. But yeah, I'm just like thinking back to all these things. I'm just wondering, like, how far back does it go? How long have I been being gang stalked by everyone around me and all the people in my family and all of my so-called friends? How long have they been gang stalking me and pretending, playing pretend around me? How long? Have I been gang stalked since I was a child? Do they gang stalk children? If they do, are they gonna burn in hell forever? Because isn't that sick to gang stalk children? I think if you gang stalk children, you should burn in hell forever. Or if you groom children to be a stalker, who's playing? I don't know. I don't know if it was a stalker or not. But yeah, looking back though, there was a lot of people who were messing with me, who were playing mind games on me. It's a lot of people in the past who were playing mind games on me and gaslighting me in my face and making up fake arguments or just like starting arguments with me over nothing just to stress me out and argue with me and make me stressed out. There's been a lot of people doing that for years and years, and I didn't know that that's what they were doing. There's been a lot of managers at jobs doing that for years and years, and I didn't know that that's what they were doing. And they were trying to make me quit or whatever, get me fired. There's been a lot of people for years and years pretending like they're my friend and stabbing me in the back. There's been a lot of people for years and years playing with my head and playing with my life like it's a game. A lot of people. Like looking back, a lot of people were doing it. Like I had this job at Jimmy John's in Colorado, right? And everybody smokes weed in Colorado. Okay? Everybody. All right? So that's the first thing. Everybody smokes weed in Colorado. And then everybody that works at Jimmy John's across the country smokes weed. Everybody that works at a Jimmy John's or any fast food place or any chain restaurant like that smokes weed. Everybody. Pretty much everybody. So, this boss that I had smoked weed with me at work many times. And he was like, he acted cool with me all the time, you know? And then one day I go out there and smoke weed at the dumpster when I take the trash out to the dumpster. And then I come inside and I smell like it a little bit. And he's like, "Were you smoking weed out there?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You can't do that." And like, he's smoked with me at work many times before. I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude?" And then like, he fired me over it. And he's a gang stalker looking back. And he like started random arguments with me like a few times because he was a gang stalker looking back. Like just stupid shit like that. And like there was this one day he was like starting a random argument with me. And he just like kept poking at me. Like I'm just ignoring him and he just keeps coming up to me and pestering me and like mocking me. And like again, he like acted cool at first when I first met him. And then he like turns into that, you know, over time. And it's like I never did anything to him though. He's just a gang stalker. Looking back, that's what he was. Looking back, a lot of people were gang stalkers. And they would try to set me up in different scenarios where they're messing with my head. then all the people in my family are always gaslighting me over the years. And looking back, I think it's because they're gang stalkers. I think a lot of people over the years, I was just thinking they were just acting weird, or like they just don't understand, or they're just ignorant, or whatever. Over the years, I thought people were just being weirdos, but they were actually gang stalkers. They were actually working for the government to deliberately mess with me. They're not just weirdos. They were actually gang stalkers working like a Gestapo for the satanic government to deliberately mess with me, to psychologically harass me and psychologically torture me illegally for the illegal, torturous, historically torturous CIA and satanic government. And the slave patrol police. And the KKK Mount Rushmore government. Do y'all know that the KKK were gang stalkers? Do you know that that's what the KKK did? They were gang stalkers. Do you know that a gang stalker is basically the same thing as the KKK? Did you know that, gang stalkers? I think they also sabotaged my cars over the years. I think they also caused a car crash on my one car, like I've already mentioned before. I think they might have also killed my cat. Like I had a kitten before I moved out to Colorado, and it died right after it was born. I don't know. It just I was living with my gang stalker friend there. That same guy, you know. I was living with him at the time when my cat died. So I don't know. Don't know about that one. Might just be being paranoid on that one. But I think they do kill people's pets. I think they put people on a bullshit list and then they stalk them all day and shoot directed energy weapons at them and kill their pets and poison them and gas them and do all types of stupid shit and mentally manipulate them and stab them in the back. And turn a blind eye to all of it. And if it was happening to them, they wouldn't be laughing, but for some reason, they think it's hilarious.